Hello and welcome back to the channel and hashtag questions. So this question this week is relating to the half dozen questions I've had about PAT testing and PAT testification and whether or not and how you go about and all those lovely things that in the UK, which is effectively, you know, it's bollocks, you know that, it's bollocks. Anyway, this is what the video is about today. Testing. So you need, if you want to do some venues, they insist on you having a PAT test certificate in the UK. That's a portable appliance test certificate, which basically says your appliance is okay and it's not going to cause any problems. So your lights, PA system and your controller, etc., anything with a plug on it. Now some PAT test companies say you need to have all your cables tested. Personally, I don't bother with that because I personally inspect my cables every time I use them, and that's a requirement health and safety wise, and they charge per item, so that's why they want you to test all your cables and stick a label on it. Nobody's ever checked any of my appliances for their labels. They're all labelled correctly. They're done every year because of the venues I go into. But all that happens is I get an email from the venue saying when my certificates run out that can I send them the new one because I'm booked in with a ex-client or something, and I send it over, and that's it. And that's effectively all that I have to do. Now, I have in the past questioned a couple of these venues that insist upon PAT testing, and said, why do you? Because it's not a legal requirement, you know. And one of the general managers at one venue said to me once, well, the reason why we ask for PAT tests is because it gets rid of the dregs, and you only get the higher caliber ones then that can do it. Well, I've got no idea if that's true or false. What I do know is that yes, it does block out the lower priced competition and who don't have it. So in those venues, those big venues, then that, you know, I see that as an advantage, especially if there's somebody's going to be going in and cutting the price really cheap. But as far as is it something that you really need, you only need if you're going to a venue that requires it. Otherwise, personally, I wouldn't bother. I would check all your equipment, which you probably do when you're putting it away and getting it out. You pay good money for it. You don't treat it like a pile of garbage. So it's going to last. It's going to look good. It's going to work well. And when it gets old, you'll probably have sold it or got rid of it by then anyway. But hey, so yeah, PAT test certificates, an absolute bollocks. So anyway, I will now go into the details that are stated in relation to PAT testing. So we'll go back to the office. Facts according to the Health and Safety Executive. I'm referencing their website, February 2020, and it states, so if you ask the question, is PAT testing legal requirement? No. The Electricity at Work Regulations 1989 require that any electrical equipment that has the potential to cause injury is maintained in a safe condition. However, the regulations do not specify what needs to be done by whom and how frequently. If they don't make inspection and testing of electrical appliances a legal requirement, okay? Nor do they make it a legal requirement to undertake to maintain them annually. How frequently do you need to maintain them? The frequency of the inspection and testing depends upon the type of equipment and the environment it is used in. For example, a power tool used in construction site should be examined more frequently than a lamp in a hotel bedroom. And they provide guidance in relation to that. So personally, every couple of years for a speaker, at least. Nothing less than that, but hey. Do you need to keep records of testing, and should you label appliances? Okay, there is no legal requirement to label equipment that has been inspected or tested, nor is there a requirement to keep records of these activities. However, a record and or labeling can be a useful management tool for monitoring and renewing the effectiveness of the maintenance scheme you put in place. So you don't have to have them labelled. Do you need to test new equipment? New equipment should be supplied in a safe condition and not require formal portable appliance inspection or test. However, a simple visual check is recommended to verify that an item is not damaged. You've been told that you have to get an electrician to do a portable appliance testing work, and is that correct? The person doing the testing work needs to be competent to do so. In many low-risk environments, a sensible, competent member of staff can undertake a visual inspection if they have enough knowledge and training. However, when undertaking a combined inspection and testing, a greater level of knowledge and experience is needed, and the person will need the right equipment to do the test, the ability to use the equipment, the ability to understand the test results. Very straightforward. So no, you can visually check your own equipment. Is portable appliance testing compulsory? No. The law simply requires employer to ensure that their electrical equipment is maintained in order to prevent danger. Simple as. Pop along if you don't believe me, have a look at the HSE website. If you can refer any people who are saying you should have a PAT test to there, and that should be sufficient. So remember, you don't have to do everything. If a venue requires you to have a PAT certificate and you're only going to go there once, and it's going to cost you £150–200 to have your equipment certificated, is it worth doing? So it's all down to where you're going and if your venues require it. So anyway, that's it for this edition of #questions. Hope that has answered the people's questions who wanted to know about PAT testing. I know it's very specific to the UK, but I've had quite a few questions, so that covers all the points there. And I hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed the video, one of these, if not that. And don't forget to subscribe. If you haven't subscribed yet, you might want to consider doing so. And if you do subscribe, don't forget to turn on the bell. Until next time, JP out.